6 months ago, I decided to pack up all my stuff back home in Denmark and fly 7 hours to the Middle East, to Dubai, to call that my home. So in today's video, I want to break down my experience of living in Dubai for the past 6 months and just sort of give an insight into how it is living in Dubai, because I know a lot of you watching these videos are business owners or people just generally interested in living in Dubai and want more information on how it actually is. Also, if you're new to the channel, my name is Rasmus. I'm the owner of Minix, a performance marketing agency where we specialize in helping e-commerce brands scale through paid ads and UGC videos on a performance basis. So in this video, I'm just gonna break it down into a few buckets from my personal experience. But if you have any questions about living in Dubai, something specific to you, then feel free to drop a comment down below and I'll be happy to answer, or maybe even do a follow-up video, sort of a Q&A style video. But yeah, let's get straight into it. So the first thing I want to get into is the environment and the lifestyle of living in Dubai, because there's really two ways you can go about it. There's the, just grind, work, and hustle lifestyle of living in Dubai, because you can get a lot of things delivered to you, or you can go into the trap of living in Dubai, what you see on Instagram a lot of the time, people just getting immersed into the experience economy that is Dubai and how Dubai makes most of their money. So I actually got a good tip from a friend of mine just before I moved here, and he said, Rasmus, the first month of living in Dubai, just don't go out. Don't go to clubs, don't do all of these crazy wild things you see on Instagram, because it will suck you in. And that I stuck to, and I'm actually pretty happy I did that, because I have a couple of friends who came to Dubai and just recently came and been spending a few months here, and just talking with them, like it's clear to see that they really get immersed into all the things Dubai has to offer, which is great for them, right? There's a lot of things you can explore, and if you want to go rent a jet ski or rent a yacht, you can do that. If you want to go to the desert and ride ATVs, you can do that. If you want to go to Michelin star restaurants, you can do that, right? You can basically do everything you want in Dubai, but it does also come with a price tag. Not only in terms of, obviously you have to pay for it, but also time and attention that's been taken away from your business. So the friends I've had who's come to Dubai and didn't get this tip, or didn't come in with a clear intention of actually working hard and actually just grinding on their business to try and make more money, where they just kind of slid into this economy experience economy that Dubai has to offer. It's clear to see that it really just sucks you in. It takes away a lot of your attention from your business and what you actually should be spending your time and attention on. But I think it's great personally that you have the opportunity to do that, because now, like, if I want to go out on a Friday or Saturday evening and just kind of chill out and have a good night, having a good meal with some friends or something, there's really nice places to do that, and that I really do enjoy. But also do enjoy how Dubai is super accommodating to people who just want to work, because you can get everything delivered to you in Dubai. Like, I have a maid that comes once a week. I have meals, they all get delivered to me Saturday to Friday, so 5 days a week. I have my gym super close by that's outdoors. So it's very accommodating to people who just wants to work and just wants to build their business and build themselves a better future, who wants to work on themselves and get success. So that I think is really good. But I will say, like, one of the downsides of Dubai is just how it can just suck you in if you're not cautious of it. So that is just something to keep in mind. I will say though, like, the general lifestyle is just super good, because if you just get here wanting to work on your business, it can be great. Like, you can outsource everything you don't want to do on a daily basis and just have people do that for you. And it's a lot more affordable than you might be thinking, which is the next thing I want to get into, like cost of living. I feel like a lot of people online say it's very expensive to live in Dubai, and of course it can be. Like, you can easily spend 10, 20, 30, 50 grand a month. But I would say, like, normal day-to-day living as a, let's call it, mere mortal, right? Like, it's not super expensive actually. Housing, you can get that, like, you can spend I would say a nice, really nice 1-bedroom apartment. One of my friends just rented, that was like $2,000, $1,800 a month. And that, like, to me, that doesn't seem like super crazy. My apartment back home, I rent out right now, I own, but I rent it out for $2,000 a month as well. And that is not nearly as nice as the one my friend got here in Dubai. So it can definitely be on the cheaper end as well, depending on how much you want to spend. I feel like Dubai is very good at offering whatever lifestyle you want to. Like if you want to blow 100K or 200K a month, for sure you will have all the opportunity to do so. But if you also just want to, live like a normal person, have a, spend 2, 3, 4K a month on, total living expenses, you can do that. For me, I mean, I pay around 4,000 USD a month for my apartment, and I think I spend maybe around $2,000 a month. Like, I don't go out super often. This is just like me going to the gym, getting all my meals delivered, having a maid, I play tennis twice a week. So like I spend money on a lot of food, also a lot of like fitness stuff, and that like it doesn't come out to more than 2,000 a month. And this is me like not actually thinking about how much am I spending. Like I don't really track my personal finances, because I know for me, as long as I don't go out like once or twice a week, I maybe go out once a month to like a restaurant with some friends, but like my personal expenses will never really go above $2,000 a month. So it's not as expensive as you would assume it to be, as you see online, right? Before I got here, I was definitely assuming that it would be like, at least like 7, 8, 9, 10 grand a month just to maintain a very normal standard of living to what I had in Denmark. But like I'm not spending, to me, I would say I'm not spending a lot of money, not very aggressively. I am spending a lot of money on fitness and health. That's because it's important to me and that's sort of my interest. On a monthly basis, I don't really spend more than 2,000 a month on food, electricity, Wi-Fi, data, fitness, and everything combined really. Getting set up in Dubai though is expensive. That's just one point I want to touch on, because you pay everything up front, right? So I just had a chat a few weeks ago with someone that was looking to move to Dubai potentially from Sweden, and we kind of broke down his finances, and it didn't really make sense for him because it can get really expensive because you pay everything up front, as I said. So you have the business you want to set up, and you have to pay that obviously beforehand. So that is, depending on who you go with, that can be anywhere from $7,000 to $15,000 to set up your business and get your residency or get your Emirates ID. Then you need to pay for an apartment upfront. You need to pay for an Airbnb for a month before you can actually get your Emirates ID to then be able to rent an apartment. So let's say you find a reasonable apartment for $30,000 a year, then that's 30,000. Let's say you pay 10 grand to set up your business, that's 40 grand, and you find a nice Airbnb for, let's say, $2,500 for a month in a marina or something like that, then you're easily looking at like $45,000 just to set up and get yourself sorted for a year, right? So it can get really, really expensive quick upfront. But once you kind of absorb that cost and you paid everything down and you moved here, then on a monthly basis, like your expenses are super low. As I said, like I paid for this apartment up front for a year, so my living expenses month to month is just like $2,000, and with the money we make in the agency, like that's really nothing. So yeah, definitely have like good solid savings before moving to Dubai. I would say if you can have like 100 grand saved up before moving to Dubai, regardless of what your actual income is, then you can still spend half of that and still have money saved up to pay for another year. If your business goes to shit and everything goes wrong, then you can still like live in Dubai for another year, right? So I would definitely advise you to do that. Have like 70 to 100K saved up before actually making the move here. That would be my personal recommendation. Third thing I just want to touch on is people. So my experience of the people living in Dubai for 6 months now has been nothing but amazing. I find that everyone I meet on a daily basis is super accommodating, super welcoming, super just warm people. And I think it's because of the nature of how Dubai's demographic is set up. Like 90% of the people living in Dubai are immigrants. It's people coming from the US, a large portion of people coming from Europe, and also a lot of Russians coming over now. It's generally understood when meeting new people in Dubai that if you haven't been living here for like years and years and years, you probably don't know a whole lot in Dubai, and you probably don't have a massive social circle. So I think that's why people generally are super welcoming, and people want to like show you around and hook you up with connections and help you out. Like a fun story, I met a guy in the elevator in my building when I just moved in, and he was like, hey, where do you work out? Because I just came from the gym. And I was like, oh, I work out here. And we had a quick chat, and we ended up meeting up a couple times. We talked business, which was super helpful for both me and him, and he introduced me to some different people, and I needed to get something done in my apartment. and he was like, oh, let me just hook you up with these different, he knew a couple of painters and like things that just needed to get done in the apartment. But that sparked from just him randomly saying hey to me in an elevator in the building. And that's the general experience I've had meeting people here, is that people are just super open to help other people. Because if you haven't been living here for 1, 2, 3 years, like you probably don't have the same connections that you have back in your home country where you've been spending, 20, 30 years or however old you are before moving to Dubai. Like it's amazing how big of a network you actually build in your home country that you just don't really realize until you move to somewhere else. Like, do you need a plumber? Do you need a painter? Do you need an electrician? Like, where do you buy food? Like, who does what, right? Like, you just have a massive amount of people in your, not in your close friend group, but just people that you know that you can always rely on. And those people you just don't have in Dubai. And I feel like that's why people are generally super welcoming, because everyone is kind of foreign in Dubai. Like no one is an Emirati, you're all just immigrants, and so you're just kind of trying to look after each other as long as you're nice. I have nothing else but good things to say about meeting random strangers and making friends in Dubai. It's honestly super easy, not that difficult, and people are super welcoming and super helpful if you ever have any issues. So the fourth thing I want to touch on is safety. And if you know anyone living in Dubai, or you've seen any sort of content from people living in Dubai, you've probably heard that they all say that Dubai is super safe. And generally Dubai also score really high on like safety parameters when you rank different countries and different cities to each other. And that's also my experience. Like since I moved here, I haven't locked my door to my apartment once. I went home for Christmas for 8 days. I didn't lock my front door once. The whole infrastructure, and because there is like mass surveillance, which people have split opinions on, but you really can't get away with anything in Dubai without the police knowing. And if anything ever gets reported, like the police will know who you are, where you're at, and what you've done. That's just how the country's set up. And for me, I will say I find that very calming, because personally I'm not someone who would ever go into another apartment to steal anything, or steal something at the beach, or if I saw a wallet somewhere, just take it and run. So for me, I find that very calming. And yeah, you just generally don't go around feeling on edge. That's definitely something I did a lot in Denmark back home, where just meeting random strangers and looking people in the eyes, like it's just not something you would do. And you would always like take your stuff with you, right? If you ever go somewhere, like I feel like that's a norm in Europe and in the US. Like of course you just take care of everything, right? And you don't leave anything left behind, because what if it gets stolen, right? It's just not happening in Dubai. Like you can sit at a cafe, leave your wallet, leave your computer, leave your phone, walk away for an hour or two, and come back and nothing will be missing. Guaranteed. That is just how safe the country is. So the safety for me is amazing. You generally just feel way happier and way calmer when you're in a place where you just know nothing will ever go missing. Nothing will be stolen here. And if it ever did, you can be sure that some camera somewhere would have picked it up. You can call the police and they will be sure to bring your stuff back to you. But in the first place, like that just wouldn't happen. You just feel way more relaxed. You feel way more happy because you have the certainty that nothing will go missing and you just won't lose anything. And then the fifth and last thing I want to touch on is hedonism and materialism, really, because that's a much bigger thing here than what it is, at least in Europe. I would say, at least in Denmark, if we want to be super specific. Dubai, as probably everyone knows, 0 taxes on anything. There's 5% VAT, but 0 taxes, 0 capital gains tax, 0 income tax, 0 corporate tax. There's nothing you have to worry about, right? And that breeds a culture as well. Because there's so much money here, it breeds a culture of people judging each other based on what you have. And that's definitely a very different dynamic compared to what I experienced in Denmark. In Denmark, it's very much like, oh, you don't buy things, you don't want to flash anything you own. Here is the opposite. Like if you can afford a G-Wagon, you go buy G-Wagon. And people just vote with their dollars much more than what they do in Europe. In Denmark, at least, like it's very much like, oh, don't don't show any of your wealth, and you will get judged for it in Denmark if you buy a nice car or you buy something nice for yourself, a Louis Vuitton or Gucci something, a bag or whatever. If you buy anything expensive in Denmark, you can be sure that people will judge you on it, and generally you'll get told something like, oh, that's a waste of money or something. It's not how it is in Dubai. It's a complete opposite. If you can afford something, go do it. And for me as a business owner and someone who's trying to make more money, I find that very inspiring, because I want to, like, personally, I want to have a nice car. I want to live in a super nice apartment. I want to wear nice clothes, right? I want to, buy stuff for myself that can materialize the success I'm getting. So for me, I don't find it as a negative that I have the opportunity here to blow through a lot of money and buy nice stuff. Because also, like, if you buy a car here, it's much cheaper than what it would be in Denmark, for example. Because in Denmark we have very high taxes on everything. So if you were to buy a $100,000 car here, for example, you would pay probably $200,000 to $300,000 in Denmark. So you can get a lot more for your money as well when it comes to these bigger purchases. But materialism as well, like, it can be a bad road to go down if you actually like over consume, and that's sort of how you validate yourself as a human individual, right? That's a fine line you have to judge for yourself, like when do you cross that line and when do you go down a bad path you don't want to go down. For me, I've never really been into any of these like super expensive things like watches or cars or something like that, but it is something I feel like is nice for me that I have the opportunity here, and I live in a society where people cheer for you to buy these nice things. People generally just materialize their wealth compared to other countries around the world where you'll probably just hide it away and not show anyone. Here it's very much, oh, you make a lot of money, you should show it. Good on you. For me, I feel like that's great. I really love that, and it gives me even more drive to actually achieve things, because I want to get there, right? I want to make a lot of money, and also want to buy nice things for myself down the line when I can afford to buy a $200,000 supercar or something. When that day comes, I promise you I will buy it, because it will just show myself in a physical form, right? Like, okay, you made it to the next level. And I feel like that's what's good about actually buying what people would consider stupid stuff or throwing around dumb money, is that you show yourself that you are living at this level, like you made it to this level. If you never spend any of your money that you make, you'll always be living in this like scarcity mindset, because you'll be living a lifestyle where maybe this is lifestyle someone that's making $5K a month, but you may be making $100,000 a month. Of course you should be spending more money, of course you should be living a better lifestyle, right? But materialism here in general, I will say, is much bigger. You do get judged to a certain degree, also obviously depending on what sort of friends you have, but you do get judged more on what you own and what you can show than other places. I would definitely say that. But yeah, guys, that is pretty much my experience so far in Dubai, and sort of things I've picked up on and noticed from living here for 6 months. Try and make an updated video again in another 6 months time, kind of round off when I've been here a year in Dubai. But yeah, hope you found some real value in this. If you have any questions, as I said, drop them down in the comments. If I get a couple questions, maybe I'll do a Q&A video on it. But yeah, I would love to answer any questions you might have. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate that. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.